You're ready?
Ready. Do we have to do the pledge? We don't do the pledge, right? Well, thank you. Okay, it's February, is it March 2nd? It's March 2nd. And this is the safety meeting. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. And we're gonna start with fire department.
Be nice and quick.
Yeah, so if you could give your monthly report and then any, because I don't think we have any old business.
Here's just a copy of it.
Thank you. So we are two members tonight today. Juwan had a religious holiday and I can't remember where Claire is. Anyway, thank you.
So we had 26 calls for the month of February. 2 fires, a dumpster, and that kind of spread to the house, the building, the garage. That was down behind the baker. And then small fire inside the shed. We got pretty quick. Fuel spill, car accident. Car accidents. One was just medical, nothing else. Left assist Supreme Court rescue. 6 no emergency situations. Smoke cooking. And 14 public service alarms, CO, different things like that, and 1, usually. Year to date, we have 65 calls, which is up by 6 from 2025. We had 59 at the end of February of last year. That's our call report for the year.
Thank you very much. Any questions about the report? You got anything for new business, Nick?
Yeah.
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 Yes, so, Claire, we just started, it's just the committee report, fire report, sorry. So any new business?
Yes, so we had to replace our main computer at the firehouse, which controls our key fob system. We were running on Windows 10, which is no longer supported. The computer was quite old. We could barely get it to do anything. Unfortunately, the key fob system will not transfer to the new computer, which makes our current key fob system, it works because it's on. We cannot do anything with it at this point. So we got a quote on New York State contract to replace the main brains of the system, using the current door readers, which are at every door, the current wiring. So we get new brains and then a new software program. And then to keep the price down, we would be doing all of the programming of the keys for the entire department instead of the tech. And that is at a cost of $22,077.92 on state contract.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we do not have that money in our budget. Our entire year budget for the buildings is $20,000. We've been asking for a few years at budget time for this to get replaced because we saw this day coming.
Gotcha.
And unfortunately, every year it's been removed. So here we are.
Okay.
We haven't been given the money to do it.
Right.
Other years. So unfortunately, here we are. Kind of between a rock and a hard place that we need the money to do it out of the general fund because we don't have the money in our thing. And we need that for operation of the department.
Yeah. You mentioned state fund. Is that like a reimbursement?
No, it's
State contract.
state contract. So it's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it's through fire security and sound, actually just the department's fob system at the end of the year. But it's all on contract, so
Gotcha.
we don't have, it doesn't have to go out to bid.
Okay, well, we'll throw a resolution together and.
Is there, have you looked at any alternative though? Like, for my work, right, we have key fobs, but we also could do it using an app.
So we can have the app, though you have to change all of the readers. Which we would eventually try to do. This is step one. But you have to change the reader to be able to do it. It's a digital key through your phone. That's every reader is $350.
So this is without the physical replacement of the readers. This is essentially software and computer.
Yes,
Okay.
to get us up and running, so we can program them, so we can get guys access that need the access.
So this is for internal, so you internally program it. Once the system's in,
Yes,
you give the key fobs out, you assign the key fobs, everything internal.
yes, and we have complete access to
Gotcha.
every door and to whoever needs a key, like, there's a meeting going on with this, I can. Literally, if you call me and say, hey, I'm at the firehouse, okay, go to X door and I can unlock it from my home.
Good to know. April 22nd, maybe call.
So I can get that, we'll go together and get it to the clerk.
Please do.
And then with, any questions on that, and then I have one other.
Anything from Larry Dominic?
More for fire even? Are you done now?
No, on that
No.
particular issue. So, yeah, please give us some information on it. We'll,
Sure.
hopefully we don't need it by the end of the month and we'll get it moved along.
Appreciate it. And then, for the House Committee, is kind of taken over, the calendar for use of the hall. So if there are any city meetings that need to happen at the firehouse, just send us an email and we'll do it through the House Committee,
Okay.
or text. Obviously, you can still use it whenever it's needed, as long as obviously there's nothing else, but we have kind of a streamlined process now. You can email, fire department email, or Sean, and we can get with the House Committee and get that, on the
I
calendar.
do need it April 22nd, so yeah,
April 22nd,
from 5 to 8. For the landlord tenant,
and that's for the council.
housing advisory board is for the house, I sit on the housing advisory board.
Okay.
So it's through, it's kind of the county housing advisory board, and we do it every year.
Yep.
I think Justin, I gotta get over Justin, see if he's available to do the fire side.
No problem.
Great. Well, anything else for fire? Awesome.
Well, we got one more thing, right, Nick? What's Saturday?
It is Saturday.
Public Plaza Center,
Oh, okay.
yes. We're the public one on Saturday, you know.
Well, it's,
Henry said he's going in, so,
Mike, here's something.
yeah, you're going in.
Everyone's welcome to join our team.
Well, thank you.
It won't be that cold.
And the following week is like chicken barbecue, if anybody's interested.
Oh, I'm interested.
Chicken barbecue.
Don't tell my wife.
It's better than our subs.
Then yeah, it's a subset next one.
All right, well, put it on the calendar.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so that'll conclude fire. Does anybody, sorry, and we'll not conclude fire unless there are any questions from, or
Yeah,
hands up in the audience. Thank you. Please, go ahead. Who is it?
Bill.
Which Bill?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Bill. Please go ahead.
All right. I'd like to make a comment. First, maybe a question at the end. If somebody could give me a heads up when my time is nearly up, I'd appreciate it. That's typically how things are done in public meetings. You don't
It
just
is.
tell okay, well, you haven't been doing that.
I'm ready for you, Bill.
Great.
If your question is for fire, please go ahead.
So the comment first is, I just want to inform the council members there that, in case they're unaware, that about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, Councilmember Roney asked DPW Superintendent Rob Perry about a out-of-service fire hydrant in the 200 block, middle of the 200 block of State Street. Now, Roni asked him this because I suggested that Roni ask Rob about it. And basically the response from Rob, in case anybody doesn't know, was it's not a problem, it being the out of service hydrant. There's others in the area. Now,
Yes, I
um,
remember that, Bill.
okay, if I were to live in front of that fire hydrant, or if that fire hydrant were to be in front of my house or wherever I live, I'd probably be on the phone with City Hall, the mayor, and the fire department about just about every other day to find out when it's going to be repaired. Because it seems to me that any reasonable person living, let's say, in the city of Hudson, wants the nearest fire hydrant to their house to be operating at all times, or to at least know when it's going to be repaired. And it seems to me also that any reasonable DPW superintendent would want every single fire hydrant in the city working without exception. And if they don't work,
Thank you, Bill.
have a plan to figure out when they're going to be fixed. So my question is, does the fire department still not care that there are so many out of service fire hydrants in the city of Hudson all the time, including one that has been out of service on 4th Street for at least 7 years?
Bill, the one, I think I can answer that one. And thank you. That was exactly 2 minutes, by the way. I want you to know that was absolutely right on time. So to address the first question about the location of the fire hydrant in front of a resident's house, I would actually say initially, yes, but
can I hear somebody from the fire department respond to my question? I didn't ask you, Henry, sorry. I didn't ask you a question.
Well, it is my meeting.
I totally understand that, but
I could just choose to cut you off if you want.
is anybody, I guess I'm curious if anybody from the fire department is going to answer the question I asked.
We had this discussion at DPW last month with you, and I actually listened to the fire department's explanation after you had left, and they answered it to me. So I'm going to just allow them to do, yeah, go ahead. Let's go ahead.
I was gonna say, he seems willing.
So Bill, like we've told you for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years, your answer to this question, first of all, if there was a building on fire, we would not use the fire hydrant directly in front of the building. So that, it's actually firefighting 101. If you would like to join, you can fill out an application on the website.
How about the house next to the fire hydrant?
Yeah, usually we don't tag them right in the general vicinity of the fire, Bill, because of collapse zones and different things like that. So
Usually or all the time?
Bill, we gave him a chance to respond, and this is the part of the rules of order where we're not gonna have a back and
All right,
forth debate.
I'll try to be,
He was
I'll mute
pleasurable
myself
enough
right
to
now.
respond to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Anyone else online have a question? Thank you, Nick.
no problem.
Really, I remembered everything you said verbatim too. I really wanted that.
Going for it.
Anyhow, so thank you very much, fire department. If you want to stay, please do. If you have places to be, thank you. Moving on to HPD. I don't believe we have any old business, but if there is, if anybody remembers any. Okay, great. Let's see. Let's start with the monthly report,
Okay.
please.
I actually have January's and February's, so I don't know if you guys received that one yet. I think February's was sent today. But because it was such a short month, so we're not always behind, I figured I would go over both of them if that's fine with the committee. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
So January, the number of defensive action reports were 2, and I'm just gonna kind of briefly go over what those were a little bit. So there was, the first one, there was an incident where a subject was intoxicated and going in and out of different stores and businesses on Warren Street, throughout Warren Street. He subsequently was arrested for disorderly conduct. He was released from being arrested from our custody. He punched the window to our garage door and then subsequently was taken back into custody. Upon going into the station, officers were trying to remove the cuffs, and then he decided to fight with officers when they were trying to take the cuffs off of him. So then he was taken to the floor and then he had a cut to his hand, so he was checked out to make sure it wasn't from either the glass or from the officers. And then he was released. The second one, there was actually a fight reported near Lucky's. A couple of subjects were fighting. One subject was beat up pretty badly. Officers went to go speak to that person. He kept posturing towards officers and kept his hands in his pockets. And then they tried to interview him, asked him to take his hands out of his pockets. He didn't. He tried to flee. We were trying to ascertain like, hey, did you fight? Because he wasn't the only one who was injured in that situation. And so he was taken to the ground and he had injuries from the fight. And also it wasn't clear what injuries were from him falling to the ground from officers or from the fight, because he had injuries to his face from the fight. And there was video of that from the fight. So someone brandished a weapon at that time too, as well. So those were the two incidents where there were defensive action reports. The number of arrests were 32 with 50 total charges. In January, the number of emotionally disturbed person calls was 7. The number of calls involving a drug overdose or suspected drug overdose was 1.
I do have a question. The defensive action,
Yes,
is it in court where like it'll be reviewed if those injuries were from the incident that happened prior, or is it just in your report? That's as far
That's-
as it goes.
yeah, that's just our internal documentation, like, hey, we had to use force to gain custody of a person and then there were injuries. So when they received treatment, we also just update our report with that as well.
I'd like to add, the sergeant looks it over and then it gets kicked to admin and then we review to make sure that the policies,
Okay.
procedures of the use of forces.
That's the question.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So yes, we have an internal process for that.
Okay.
And these were justified incidents. If they weren't, we would note that at our level, the chief and all that.
Thank you.
For body worn cameras, like Captain Miller said, we reviewed it. So there's no indication of training needs from body worn camera reports for January. Moving on to February, there was one defensive action report. There was a traffic stop in which the operator was asked to step out of the vehicle because there was no insurance for towing the vehicle. Person put their vehicle in park and tried to flee. So a taser was drawn but not deployed, and then she was subsequently removed from the vehicle. There were 49 arrests and 65 total charges, 4 emotionally disturbed person calls, and 0 calls involving drug overdose or suspected drug overdose.
Thank you.
Do you want me to give parking now? before-
Yeah. But if that concludes the monthly report, we'll go on to parking and then we'll go down the list.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
for last month, the department issued 2,750 parking tickets. Actual paid tickets were 2,380 for a total of $68,000. Also, revenue was up by 26% from that time last year. And just to kind of put it in perspective, for parking, we had 16,793 parking transactions for that month, for 1 month. And right now we have 43 tickets in dispute for last month only. So yeah, I talked to Park, we did have some phone calls here and there, a couple emails, but statistically, out of that 16,793, I would say we had no more than, I don't know, 43 documented. So even if you total that, that's 83 complaints out of 16,793. And that's it.
Do you have a like process question? You speak with the company often still with like the implementation.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if there's a way to either go down to 30 minutes instead of an hour, or if like folks can there should be something on the app that like you stop your parking meter.
Mhm.
So that time can be credited for another time, especially for locals. If we have to park somewhere for 5 minutes and run into the store, we just paid for an hour and then we're done being parked on.
Yeah, I think for the time frame, that would be something the council can decide on.
Okay.
Because it's, right now, the resolution was for hour time slots for
Okay.
parking. So I think the council could adjust that.
What I, not a bad suggestion, but I think that might make it a way we might lose a little revenue on the people that don't necessarily live here, but maybe there's
Right.
another solution like a residential parking.
That's what I'm wondering, if there's like, you click an option or, I don't know, put your address in to get the option, because again, like, there's stores on Warren Street that locals are running in and out of for
Yeah.
10 seconds and they're paying for an hour of parking. And there's people that have watched or have at least come to me and said, like, I've watched the 2 cars in front of me that parked at the same time, not get a ticket. I got a ticket as I'm about to press send. So there's just like, to avoid some of that discretion with disgruntled residents that are trying to figure it out, I think we could rethink some of those things.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any one of us are opposed to a resident, parking, system. Again, I think that's a decision that's made by the council.
Yep.
Right, cause like all decisions don't like start and end.
But I mean, like,
with our
likelihood,
office.
has the company said anything about like any of those options or like troubleshooting things as you're going through the implementation?
One of the things I've found to be kind of an issue is like there's a prorating system where like time kind of stops, so folks are getting charged the transaction fee, but if parking ends at 5, folks are paying kind of less for parking and then paying more in a transaction fee. The start time, we've talked about, because there have been complaints for folks who have to work, maybe they go into work at 8:30, right? We ask them to start the time at 8:30 so they can park. But essentially their clock doesn't start until 9. So we could also push that back. As far as the 30-minute timepiece, we haven't talked about that because it's never been until 9.
When there was meter, though, wasn't that the same thing? I mean, you would pay for, your spot, but you might only be there for 5 minutes, but you're still there, right?
Yes.
So what's the difference now, right? Whether it's a meter or this method, the concept is still there. You're paying.
I think
It is,
folks-
but
I
it's
think
an
folks-
hour worth of payment.
Yeah, I think folks were used to paying, 15 minutes for a quarter.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotcha,
Instead of
okay.
the full hour. So
Gotcha.
it would register.
Well, full
The time.
hour is 50 cents. Right?
But it ends up being
We never hit
89
15.
after.
Or 30 minutes, right,
Yeah.
excuse me.
But
So,
that's even more reason.
yeah, you would
only a
put,
couple
you would
years.
put a quarter in and you'd get 30 minutes. Instead of having to put 50 cents in for the hour.
Well, let's send them shoot them a message and see what they have
Yeah.
options for time increments. Probably won't get the rebate, but maybe we can break it up to half an hour.
And we can weigh all of those options, but I think based on some of the complaints that I've gotten,
Yes,
the 89 cents for an hour and
Well,
only
the-
spending
the
5.
surcharge is
Yeah.
ridiculous and hopefully when their contract runs out, we can renegotiate or look to whoever might give other rates.
Our rates, just for the record, are the cheapest.
They are the cheapest?
Yes.
Thank you. That saves
If
a
you
lot.
want fare, if you go to Albany, you can go right on there, Albany parking, and they have a chart of all their scheduling and their fees. So, you would look at our parking and go, oh, wow, we're getting a huge break here compared.
And I do think residents will get used to and be okay with it once things make sense, but if there are things to be
Yeah.
troubleshooted, we should entertain them.
And I think once more the kiosk gets out where you actually can use the quarters where you can avoid you getting paid 39 cents, then I think that also might help too, once the kiosks are spread
Yes.
out.
Since you brought it up, do we have any updates on kiosks or?
So the BEA has the quotes for the remaining 10 kiosks and the conversions of 4 of them to solar. And just waiting for approval from BEA and for that to go forward for resolution because there has to be a transfer of funds
Yeah,
associated with
didn't
that.
we have that last year or last month? It wasn't at BEA last month? Okay, thank you.
No, the BEA is.
Just got it.
No, the mayor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought they had met last month.
So last, I did speak with the treasurer and she was gonna draft a resolution so those funds could get transferred,
Great.
so we can set that up. Once they have the signed quotes from us, then we can schedule the install. So hopefully in the foreseeable near future.
Okay, thank you. Any questions about parking? A year gonna get, you're up next, and then we'll do Lou. Questions from the audience online specifically about this parking, and then we'll go to any questions about, I know did you send a letter out?
I sent one to you, yes.
Yes.
And many other people.
Excellent, so let's just go right in.
May I?
Please, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Catherine Clark. I live here in town. I work here in town. I'm gonna try and keep this brief, but I would like to raise the issue of the lack of signs explaining parking in the town is one thing. I'm only aware of one at the top of Warren there, and it's not really a place that safe to pause and read, as it's on the main drag. It's small lettering, it's difficult. I don't think I actually know what it says.
That would be the overnight parking.
Yeah,
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And then on top of that, in the past few months, the enforcement of the parking rules and regulations has changed drastically, which has left me and many of my peers here, also residents and professionals of Hudson, in compromised positions and owing you a lot of money that we don't have. So, you know, I just like to note that there was really no communication saying that that was going to change. So just wanted to address that. Additionally, the municipal lot, I understand that the when we purchase parking passes and permits, we have to provide our license plate information. I don't know why we do, but I do also understand that the license plate readers in the police cars and of the parking employees that walk around, they can read whether or not your license plate has, you know, unpaid parking tickets associated with it. So I would like to address the issue of them not being able to read whether or not you actually have a permit that associated with the license plate. So if I forget to put my permit up, which has happened before, and I'm parked legally in the lot, I get tickets because the readers can't actually read whether or not my license plate has a permit. Sorry, that should have been more eloquent. I think you get what I'm putting down here. So I'd like to go both ways, if that's possible. And then, yes, the issue of resident parking. I understand that there's very little space here in town, and I also understand that we're trying to do a lot in that small space. But those who don't have parking associated with their addresses are the ones who are really, I think, bolstering the economy here. We help run the businesses that bring tourists in and bring money in and all of that. And it often feels as though we are the most frequently punished for trying to park our cars and, you know, live here. So that's just, try to keep that brief, but those are just some of the issues that I'd like to raise to this committee.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do you want me to speak to, do we want to speak to any of those things?
I think
or-
so, why not?
Okay.
We definitely have some issues that we've heard before.
Yeah.
Overnight parking, we've heard it from Bill a number of times.
Yes.
Overnight parking being suspended, especially when we're not cleaning the streets.
Right.
Would definitely go probably a long way, and then resident parking.
Yeah,
And of course, Warren Street being our commercial district.
Yeah.
Be a little bit of a catch there, kind of a difficult spot, but
mhm.
it would have to be a Warren Street only for something residential parking, but please, sorry, I don't want to.
No, it's okay. That's okay. As far as the overnight parking rules, we can certainly get more signage. We would just have to order that and figure out what funding that would be from. As well as we have more signs to put up for the new parking rules, with the QR codes and the information. The time frame that those get put up are dictated by DPW schedule. We don't put those up. It's if they're not busy with water breaks or different things, they take their extra time to put those up throughout the city. So because there has been a delay, we delayed enforcement in areas where there weren't actually parking signs. As far as the communication for those that went out, we have been talking about this since last year, and prior to that, there was a committee. I don't know if you are a user of the Hudson Hub at all, but all parking related notifications go out through there as well as other city notifications. If there's a water break, if there are any updates, the link to that would be right on the city website.
That's an app.
It is an app.
Yeah, that's an app.
And additionally, on the city website, under parking, there's all updates about suspended parking, the rules, how to pay for parking as well on there.
I've had a hard time finding the updates and like when there are changes. That's something I haven't been able to find. So maybe that's user error or maybe it's just not adequately stated.
Not all updates are on like the main page. You have to navigate to actually the parking.
It's an imperfect
In there.
system.
It is. But I believe on the main page at the bottom is the link to Hudson Hub. And you can look it up on your phone, as an app and download it and sign up for the notifications on there as well. And that's not just for parking, that's for any city-related business that are updates that we might need anyone to know that just doesn't come from our office. But say if Orange Street's closed down for an event or something like that, that would be on there, or parking restrictions as well, will be on there. Next one, what was the next one?
Residential parking?
Residential, yeah, and I touched on that earlier, in the meeting. Again, I'm not opposed to that. That doesn't come through me. Like, I don't make that decision. And
More of enforcement.
yeah,
That doesn't come from us.
Maybe you directly. I'm just-
Yeah, that's.
but yeah, it's been brought up in the past. And I think there needs to be more discussion about that. I'm a resident of the city. Fortunately, I have a driveway. There are times where I may have to park on the street. And there's restrictions where I live as well. But I would be open to a resident permit if I could,
So who would be best to speak with this?
It's us.
yeah, it's for,
Where do you live in?
I live, at First Ward, right?
First ward. Warren Street is usually where people are asking for the resident permits because it is the commercial district,
A
so.
few of us left.
yeah. And
And
then,
this committee, so I
Yeah,
think
so
we would
we're
just
just
think
something
about what it
together.
would look like and.
And I think we're happy, we understand that, it's maybe something that can't be free, and that does make sense, but, and we're happy to pay a reasonable amount, but we just, the $350 in late fees on tickets, just yada, yada, that's something that we can't do multiple times a year.
Just to commiserate, these fees used to be compounded. When we used to pay our bills in that office over there to Edie, and you felt terrible and it compounded monthly. Yeah, it's getting better slowly, but we're gonna try, yeah.
and to piggyback off that, right, because that segues into the municipal law, discussion. So municipal permits per code right now are issued by the city clerk's office.
Yeah,
Historically, the city clerk's office did not collect license plates or registrations because they're transferable. So if you had multiple cars, you could use it for both of your cars. We are trying to move the issuance of municipal permits to the parking bureau, which is under our purview. That said, we have asked the clerk's office this year to start collecting license plates. Those have not been entered into our system as of yet because we don't oversee them. And that is why, if it is not hanging, which is also something that is required by code, they're not gonna scan your license plate and probably get that information. But if you have one and you get a ticket, you can call the parking bureau, bring your permit, we can verify it, and then your ticket would be dismissed. Possibly. Most likely.
People, the problem is some people will never put their permit down, and after the fifth time, trying to work that problem out becomes an issue.
Yeah.
Because it's law, like she says.
totally understand that. I think, just sort of like, you're late for getting to work that day, you forget to put it up.
I agree with that, right? Like, if you have a permit, you have a permit. And again, to change that by code is another thing for the council, if we can do that, if they're willing to do that.
Better, it's a license plate and you're not forgetting because it's
Right.
tied to your license.
Correct.
One other thing, Chief, in terms of signage, is there any way to do like a laminated 8x10 signage for the businesses that they can put up?
Yeah, parking enforcement actually went out to the businesses
Right.
and like handed out flyers about it so that they have it in their stores.
Right.
Also, there were smaller ones, like wallet-sized ones that
Right.
are here at City Hall and other places that folks can take with them and maybe throw in their car if they need it
Right.
as well.
To piggyback on that, the overnight parking rules, I think there are only 3 signs, I believe. Is that about right?
I think at the entrance, yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
entrance,
entrance is the Hudson,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
There's the,
any way you can enter Hudson, there's a sign, so there's more than 3, yeah.
That's more of what my question is geared
Yeah,
toward.
maybe
Okay.
we could, order a couple more of those and put those randomly, cause they do. That's always been a problem for every new resident.
Okay.
Even current and old. Okay, anything else about that particular parking issue? Please, sir, please state your name.
William, Walter, I live on North Lake Street. The question regarding Portland, fans technology, right? So say I was a resident who didn't have access to a smartphone or a phone for that matter. In this given situation, assuming I in today would need to walk to a booth, what would happen if in the time that it took me to walk to a booth and per se figure out how to use that booth, I was ticketed?
So you don't have to walk to one. You can drive your car up to a selected one because they're next to the parking lots. Put in your license plate and you're good for the hour for 50 cents. Then you park your car, then if you have to get coffee, wherever you get coffee, if you have to go to CVS, it goes by your plate number, not the actual spot. So you don't have to keep on feeding the meter. So once you pay up to a kiosk, you pull up, you put your plate in, put the 50 cents in, and you go on your business and go wherever you need to go. You don't have to travel around. If you're traveling that much walking, you might as well do a non-metered spot at that point.
Well, there was a moment, another constituent said that they were parking on Warren to go to CVS. They parked their car, were walking to the sign to do the thing with the QR code, and they were ticketed in that process.
I
That-
think-
Yeah,
Is that what you're asking?
there was a delay, I think, in that circumstance. And I would just recommend to contact the parking bureau or bring the ticket in and show your receipt of when you paid and when you received the ticket and kind of explain that. You know, we take into consideration like all the circumstances
I
about it.
guess my other question would be, so doesn't the system function on multiple zones? Correct, so if I'm.
So each kiosk is a different zone.
No, I think it's, so each kiosk can zone, there's only 2 zones.
Okay.
There's Warren Street and the side streets, which is all one. And then there's the
If you use Park
municipal ones.
Mobile, there's more than.
It is a little,
I thought we were talking about kiosks, I'm sorry.
Oh,
well, I think that,
it depends, I think it depends on which
and it is a
which you
little,
use.
to that point, I was not under the impression you could do what you're saying, Catherine, and
Yeah,
go up to one and then pay and then drive somewhere to park.
So you throw in your 50 cents and you go wherever you want.
But I think maybe that being a new system, it's not really widely known to the public. Plus, I was under the impression, well, I assume most people don't know.
Yeah,
And
to be
it's
fair,
difficult for any resident or visitor to come to Hudson and then have to walk 2,000 feet, you know, if they're gonna park on 300 block or rather the 200 block rather, and then make that round trip.
yeah, to be fair, we took over parking,
Yeah.
not even a year yet. And since then, we can have meetings like this. Before we took them over, you couldn't do, what we're doing right now didn't exist. So it's great, like compared to what we used to have and what we're doing now. We can talk, we walk through it, we work on it. You might have missed some of the meetings we've talked about,
Mhm.
how you can do this and the different ways you can, this system is great compared to what we had. I understand change is tough, but I watched that system for years and, it was just barbaric. The machines were breaking. People would put in their quarters and then go somewhere else, and it was just a real mess.
I think this is a good suggestion though, and like maybe there's a social media push about just like tips and tricks for the system, because even if you were to use this in Albany, if you were to do that in Albany, pay for your parking spot and then go find parking, it could just be a complete rewire of how you do the system.
But it
Yeah.
does feel like it's a temporary problem because
Right.
once the rest of the kiosks are deployed,
Right.
they will be within eyesight. So it is unfortunately not a perfect
Yeah.
solution and maybe, you know, arguing a situation like that, I'm pretty sure the parking department is gonna be relatively understanding before, of course, it gets to
right, if something happened, like you explained, that they will be glad to help you, you know, there's no reason for them not to want to help you with a situation like that.
Yeah.
Captain Miller is very proactive on Facebook. When he does see someone ask a question, he's quick to respond, correct it, and also give them information.
That's
Yeah, go.
clarifying issue. So you said there are two zones, then, and within parking, it's using,
The kiosks,
If you're specifically on Warren Street, that's one zone.
okay,
And to clarify, I think to reiterate what Captain Miller said, is that if you are concerned about like that time, that lapse,
yeah,
in receiving a ticket, you can drive to the nearest kiosk, pay, and then park, and then you're good.
kiosk. Any of them can function within the Highway Commercial District.
Yeah,
correct, and,
yeah.
and all of it, like, anywhere you, want to park, which is nice, because it takes about 30 seconds, you punch in your plate, put in your 2 quarters if you don't want to pay the service fees for the apps. Some people like the app, you know, whatever works for you.
Thank you. Anything else, anyone else in the room regarding parking?
I wanna follow up on the like license plate question that was asked at last safety committee meeting.
Mhm.
Did you get a chance to ask, the company what they do, what the,
So they don't sell it to any third party, and then there's a couple layers of encryption for that as
Okay.
well.
And how long do they have it?
How
Did they
long do
answer
they
that?
have
How
it?
long do they store the data or
I mean, it's in there for an extensive period of time.
forever?
Yes,
Okay,
I don't know about forever, but
not forever, but there's certain laws that it has to keep the data for a certain amount of.
okay, gotcha, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Claire, for bringing that one up. That was our only leftover question from last month.
Okay.
Anyone in the online audience have a question? Okay, regarding parking,
Hello.
Bill, we're ready for you. Are you on?
I do have a question or two about parking, but I also have a question for Chief Franklin. Am I allowed to ask of both the HPD representatives?
Let's do it. You have the 2-minute floor.
Okay. Also, I just want to comment about the 200 block fire hydrant that was out of service 2 or 3 years ago is still out of service. We've all been told, well, if you'd paid attention to Jen Belton and the Parking Study Committee and all their goings on the past year and a half, well, last year and the year before, she made it very well. Jen made it very aware that the downtown parking lots are short-term lots, and the Amtrak lot is the city's only long-term lot. In other words, you can park in the Amtrak lot for as long as you want. If you want to go away for a year, you can park there as long as you pay for your space. You won't get ticketed. Now, since this downtown lots are short-term, presumably that means you don't want people parking in there for long periods of time or long-term. I guess my question is to Captain Miller, why is there a white van? Why has there been a white van parked in the City Hall parking lot behind City Hall for the past year and a half unmoved that often has junk surrounding it? That's one question. My second question is if the short-term lots, if the downtown short-term lots are indeed short-term lots considered short-term, what does that mean? And why are people allowed to park in them overnight and for as long as they like, even if they pay for their space and have a permit?
Thank you, Bill.
yeah, the van, we're working on the van. That's been an issue. That has been an issue. We're
That's
working
right.
on
Can
that.
you elaborate a little bit for me, Captain Miller? Just like what are you working on?
It's not gonna be a back and forth, Bill. He's gonna give you that answer and maybe we can circle back another time. Let's move on to the next question. Then he's answering.
The short term, so we're talking about the permits, you can buy them, right? And some of the residents use that, like, you know, they do their, whatever they have to do during the day and come home from work and then they park their car there overnight with their tags. I don't know. I don't really see a problem. I think that's what it's meant for, but I don't see anything in the code that says otherwise, because I looked. So Hudson City Code law, I guess the short answer is the law allows them to park like you're suggesting.
That was not always the case until about 3 years ago when the alternate side
No,
parking rule was
sure.
taken away, right?
That's not true.
So, well,
No,
actually,
actually-
so my question though is, are the downtown lots considered short-term? And what does it mean to call them short-term lots? If a van can park, if a vehicle can park in the city hall lot for a year and a half, why is it called a short-term lot?
Lots in a municipal, a commercial district are short-term because we want people to come to town, spend their money and get out of town.
That's what the lot is for, to get
Yeah.
visitors into the lot, right?
Yeah, but I
Short-term.
don't think the one on,
Well, some
How
of
is
them
it-
actually
how is a
have
vehicle,
permit.
how is a vehicle parked in the lot for a year and a half a short-term duration?
are we
Just-
talking about the van still?
Isn't it a simple question?
Are you talking about the van still?
I think,
Anything.
I do
How
think
about,
that
how about
short-term
Lloyd's other
lots-
vehicle?
He's addressing that, it's
I
in
think
the
is
works.
a good way for residents to not feel the impact of all of these parking changes.
Yeah.
So it's a temporary solution right now for
I would
folks
just like
overnight
to
to be able to
I
park
would-
in the short term.
I would just like to hear Captain Miller explain why or Chief Franklin,
Thank-
why the
He's
downtown lots
responding
are
to-
considered
Bill.
short-term. That's all.
He said he read the code and that it's not enforceable by law. Thank you very much. Moving on to the next thing. Thank you so much, Bill. Does anyone else in the online audience have a question?
I have a question for Chief.
Which is it? Do we want to do that? Fire away, Bill. Here's another 2 minutes. Bill, you want a Chief Franklin question?
Muted himself.
Oh.
Sorry about that. Here's my comment, and then I'll ask a question.
No, just a question.
Why is that? I thought you gave me 2
Because
minutes.
Bill, come on.
I thought you gave me 2
For a
minutes.
question, you've had 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes per thing. We've gone over the rules before. I don't want to read it again.
Okay,
I've
the
never
woman
read
that
it
asked,
out
the woman that asked about parking issues was given about 5 minutes, but I won't go
Yeah,
into
there
that.
are
But
there
it
are
was-
4 people, so between 4 of them for this issue, absolutely. Bill, please
Point
ask the question. Let's be
Point of
direct.
order,
So,
it's
Chief
one
Franklin-
comment or question per
Chief-
issue. They were
Chief
still on
Franklin.
topic of the issue.
Chief Franklin, I'm curious, why there's no in external board that reviews complaints about police or issues of police misconduct, and if you're really comfortable with doing these things internally.
There is, it's called the Attorney General's Office, and you can make a complaint you have in the past.
And they rejected
there's
my
a- there
request,
was a
and they
parking
rejected my
issue.
request.
They projected your request because they didn't deem it, sensitive
I'm-
enough for their
Yeah,
office to
I'm
investigate.
wondering, like Albany has a local police review board. Are you comfortable with Hudson not having a similar review board for police misconduct issues?
I mean, I
Albany
don't
has
believe
one.
that that's my decision to make. I mean, if
Are you,
the city or the
I'm
mayor,
asking you if you're comfortable with it, Chief. I'm sorry to
Thank
interrupt
you,
you.
She's
Bill.
responded. She's responded.
Are you comfortable with it?
Thank you so much, Bill. Have a good evening. Sorry, I'm not.
oh,
I don't know.
I feel like we should still, even though it's redundant, we should start the meeting by just breezing through the rules of order so that it's documented on every
Fine.
meeting that
Mhm.
we've said
We'll
it.
just
this
do
is-
number 9. Perfect. Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Oh, I'm sorry, new business. Do we have any new business? Oh, no, I forgot him. No, we're not there yet. I'm sorry. He gets me flustered, really. Bill, you're a great guy. New item on the agenda.
I actually have two. So one was what I forwarded to the committee
Yeah.
or right before the meeting. There was a request from a resident at 76 North 7th Street
Oh, yes, that's fine.
about a stop sign
Mhm.
at 7th and State.
Aha,
And I know one of the main reasons there is not one there
yeah,
is because of the railroad tracks.
yes,
So it follows the same,
can't have it.
traffic safety
Yep.
order as 6th and Columbia
Mm-hmm.
because of the railroad tracks.
Did they witness something that made them feel like it would be helpful?
I think it's just a concerned parent about their children, in that area being concerned about possibly getting hit by a car. But there was nothing specific according to this email.
Would one of the crosswalks with the blinking sign be helpful there?
I mean, I think that would be a good
Just a
solution.
sign.
Yeah,
Yeah, like it alerts when there's somebody in the crosswalk, cause I can understand like flying, I've seen cars fly between 6 and
Right.
the
Yeah.
light.
and that's my concern, if there was a consideration to add another stop sign in addition to the railroad tracks is like, it could give someone a false sense of safety and then they're gonna zip from
Yeah.
that stop sign to the next one.
I could see the crosswalk.
I think a crosswalk in that whole intersection would be,
I think one of the other issues is parking, at that corner.
True.
I know even coming out with fire trucks.
Yeah.
They sit a little bit higher, so it's not as bad, but if I leave the firehouse in my chief's vehicle, even every morning I come across the front of the firehouse to go to work. If there's people parked there, especially at night because of the establishments in that area, it is brutal
Yeah,
to see cars
yeah, it's hard.
coming down State Street. So I think between a crosswalk and maybe extending the yellow curve
Yeah,
up further, I get we'd be taking away parking spaces there. But I think leaving it the way it is, from all aspects, right now we have an apartment building, we still have a firehouse on that block, and at 4 o'clock, that intersection is insane with people coming out of DSS.
yeah,
So even
It is.
making that, it's only 4 spots, making it a no parking, might benefit everybody and the crosswalk maybe.
or just painting it.
I thought that was part of the planning board's recommendation when they did the
I was gonna
apartment.
say, I feel like that was a conversation.
there
with
is a
that.
stop sign next to the walls.
Yeah,
No, I'm
They
talking about
did put it in
expanding
there.
the.
Or you're talking
the
about
yellow,
the yellow?
Yeah,
and increasing the crosswalk.
Originally, it was painted up, one spot was painted, that has since disappeared just because the paint wore off on a brand new curb. So I don't know if maybe even signage, I think that's the chief's purview, along with once they get painting yellow curbs again,
Hmm.
no parking here corner, something along those lines on the north side of State Street, so people can see coming out of state. I think that might,
I mean, anything that enhances that visibility, especially in that corner, especially when we are handcuffed without a stop sign that's, that can be put there, right?
right,
So,
and even 1 or 2 spots going, next. Be able to see cars coming up because they back right up to, Center Street. Would probably benefit quite a bit, plus a crosswalk, I think it would definitely benefit.
What's a cheaper solution for now?
Would that
Start with some paint and move to signage?
Yeah.
Claire, sound good to you?
Yeah, I mean, the mayor has a special interest in crosswalk, so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That might have been on his list, that intersection
Cool.
may have been on his list.
I think we should highlight it to him that it came back up.
Great.
And
Next
then,
issue?
so one of our patrol cars has been out of service for a little bit. It was overheating. We received a quote to repair that, the amount of $6,041.75. New radiator, muffler, and all the work for that. We probably could get away with not replacing the muffler right now, but eventually that would have to get replaced.
Get a muffler ticket.
Right. Yes. So we're going to try to find, the money of how to pay for that.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll be down a car, patrol vehicle.
How's everything looking overall in terms of, if you've got one down now?
So that car that you're talking about,
Yeah.
2017,
It's one of the older.
it's the only one that has not been replaced from
Okay.
a group of 2017 vehicles that were purchased.
Gotcha.
Everything else, starting in 22, has been replaced.
Awesome.
And we're doing very good with those. Mileage, just the way we're doing it now, mileage is lower on them. There's only 2 or 3 people assigned to every car.
Foreseeable maintenance.
Yeah,
is
the
kind of
concern is if we're down one car,
Yeah.
then those newer cars then take the brunt of everything else.
Right.
And so, then those would need repair sooner rather than later.
With this one, we are 102,000 miles.
Hard miles.
That's not idle time. I mean, that's probably the equivalent of 300,000 to 400,000
Yeah.
miles with idle time, so. You know, where it's gonna be going on, it's 9 years old. So,
Do you guys draw straws, use take a 2017 car?
two people are assigned it, they do take, what we found with just assigning 2 to 3 people, and they have the same car every day for the inside and the way it looks, they take care of them a lot better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
When stuff does come up,
Okay.
they notice it before stuff gets worse, so we can get it fixed. This is, I mean, muffler alone is, it's dual mufflers, it's over $3,000 just with mufflers.
Yeah.
Not including the antifreeze leak, so that's kind of the boat we're in on that.
Thank you. I got a request from Joe Keneally to bring up former Officer Lou Brenner and his approaching centennial. And he wanted to know if HPD would ask the mayor to honor him in some fashion, or if there's anything you ever do if an officer reaches 100.
It might be the first,
Yeah, it's kind of, there's the first.
no,
Yeah, can't be, right? Things are looking bright. So,
I mean, God bless them.
yeah,
Do American proclamation,
Yeah, I mean, we can bring it up. I can bring it up to him,
give him the key to the city.
thanks.
of course.
See if we can get him here.
He would love to come, I'm sure of it.
Okay,
I'd love to hear stories too.
well, we've got some time, March 21st.
Yeah.
If there is anything for new business that anyone else would like to bring up,
I do have something, so,
please.
we have, at Oakdale now, there is signage now, stay up ice.
Okay.
So if you could do, before there was really nothing you guys can do, because there's no signage. Now there's a signage to stay up ice. So if there could be some kind of routine to go there, just make sure, you know, there's no one on ice. That'd be great, especially because the aerators, that are on, they actually make the ice thinner. So I don't know if people know that it might look like it's thick, but those aerators actually make it thinner, because there's no, you know, that's the whole point, right? And, so those ice is not as thick as what it looks like.
Yeah, the aerators are left on for the mitigation option that the city chose for the algae bloom. And it's a part of their non-toxic method or something. So the aerators are on this winter. They might have been on last winter, I don't remember. But they're on, and it's a spring-fed lake, lake. So everyone should stay off.
Our winter was colder, obviously, this winter.
Yeah.
So there's longer ice that's there than it was.
Yeah, we can have patrols go over there and make announcements or whatever, just make sure people are
No,
off.
just we're getting out of it.
There is some holes, I guess. for
Oh,
fishing.
there's very visible holes there. I'm actually surprised that anybody goes on the ice with that.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Mhm.
Thank you. Anybody else? Claire, all set? Then, I guess that concludes our meeting. Motion adjourned. Motion accepted.
Second. Thank you.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Aye.